Ji. Quick few words. He is Director Sales, Business Development at Siemens Postal, Parcel and Airport Logistics. An economist by education, he has 20 plus years in the airport industry. Well, I request Mr. Poser for his presentation now.
This one's on. Thank you very much. I know it's a daunting task to speak about technology at an investment conference and keeping you from the coffee and tea that you're craving for already. I'll try to make this as brief as possible. And probably I can keep your attention by telling you that we may actually play a small role in all of your everyday life, even though we may not be very visible most of the time. Manazi, can you imagine how we may be playing a role in your daily life?
My life?
Yes.
Well, I was not really equipped to answer this question.
Okay.
I'm sure, it plays a role in...
I'll help you a little. I'll help you a little bit. Do you send or receive letters occasionally? Order something online from Amazon? Fly around?
I do.
You have a very high chance that we play a role in your life, because what may be very little known is that we equip 14 of the 20 largest airports in the world, and therefore around every fourth journey that's taken by air has the baggage transported by one of our systems. We sort about every second letter that's been sent around in the world, every second letter. So every second letter you may receive may have been going through our systems, and if you are receiving parcels or sending parcels, 14 of the top 20 parcel providers are using our systems in order to sort these parcels. So there is a pretty high chance that we do play a little role in your daily life as well. But with our company, Siemens Postal, Parcel and Airport Logistics, we only play a minor part in the entire, I would call it the universe of Siemens, providing technologies to airports as well. There are other parts within Siemens who are providing building technologies, who are providing safety, fire safety, security technologies. Energy is a very important aspect of airport technology, so it's IT and security systems. All of this is within the portfolio of a company like Siemens, and therefore is technology that can go and needs to go into airports, and where we are providing these solutions to the airports, and we're trying to provide as smart as possible solutions. But being at an investment conference over here, I don't think that's a lot of sense to tell you all the details about these solutions. First of all, because it would take far too much time, specifically now. And secondly, I don't think that's a lot of interest for you, whether we put in a screw here that's being clockwise turned and a screw there that's being anti-clockwise turned. Would be as valuable as telling you why this yellow suite is better than a green suite. Doesn't help you. So I scratch my head thinking about what helps you, what can catch your interest at an investment conference talking about technology. I came up with an analogy, a comparison. Let me ask a quick question around in the audience. Who of you has bought a car in the last, say, 12 or 24 months? What car have you bought? A Mitsubishi. A Mitsubishi tends to be a relatively, not a very expensive, but a relatively expensive car. There are small, cheaper cars around that have 4 wheels. Oh, they give you a fifth steering wheel as well, and maybe even an engine. So why did you buy a Mitsubishi?
Good handling.
Good handling. Any other aspect that made your consideration?
It's a SUV, so they have a proven track record.
Okay. So there are quality arguments of making an investment decision for such a car. There may have been cost arguments as well. There may have been other arguments rather than price. And this is really what is catching when making a proper and a smart investment decision into technology. Now, I'm glad that we're here at the PPP conference and not at a conference about BOT models, the adverse model of build, own, transfer for airports, because that would be then the question if I would give you $5,000 per year for a car to be used 3 years, and then you have to give the car to me. I think you would have bought a very different car. When making smart investment decisions into technology, there are a couple of factors to be considered other than just price. And one of these factors certainly, or the most important factor of this really, is the long-term return on investment. As an investor who is also owning and operating that airport for a relatively long period, or probably forever, you want that technology that you invest in to be durable, to be long-lasting, to be easy to be operated, to be cheaply operated, safely operated, and give you the quality standards that you expect and that your customers, the airlines and the passengers, expect of you as well. So you want this technology to adhere to future standards. You want that technology to have cost-effective life cycle costs, so low investment into further operation and maintenance, spare parts being available for a long time, an intelligent operation and maintenance regime that comes along with that, a low energy consumption. So a lot more factors to be considered, which we consider smart factors in technology rather than just price. And without going into very many details, I will try to give a few examples of our past projects where these considerations have played a major role. And Mr. Engler is probably going to like the first example most. Because if you make investment decisions based on those criteria, then the technology investment really comes back with a financial consequence, a positive financial consequence on your cash flow over time. So the first example that Mr. Engler is most likely going to like a lot is actually the baggage handling system at Frankfurt Airport. Damn, that's a 40-year-old system. It's actually been the first tray baggage handling system that's been built in the world, and by a predecessor of our company, by the way. And if you think about this, is not the most recent set of technology. It's probably not the most advanced airport system that is existing in the world. Probably the most advanced airport baggage handling system is being implemented in Incheon at the moment, is running in Dubai, and this is, by the way, the 5th generation of that kind of technology. It had originally been implemented in Frankfurt. But if you think about it, as an investor, a technology, a system that you have bought 40 years ago and that's still operating well, that's still serving one of the best world hub airports, still has spare parts, still has the technology to keep it alive available, and has been upgraded over the years, over 40 years, with the necessary IT and control systems to meet the demands of a modern hub. That's probably the most smart investment decision that you can think about. And other airports are following that example and using the 5th or 4th generation of that technologies nowadays and deciding in favor of that technology. And that experience not only goes into very large hub airports, that experience actually goes into smaller systems, into less sophisticated, but yet equally cost-efficient systems as well. And Mr. Engler, your decision in Greece, I think is still outstanding, and we're waiting for the contract, which is at the moment being designed. The other example that I would want to bring forward is one on technology that helps you to reduce concurrent costs of the investment. Energy consumption is one of the big examples. I mean, we know that oil prices are relatively low at the moment, but there's no guarantee that this will last for very much longer. And therefore, a consideration on the cost of energy and also the CO2 emissions of energy are always very important as well. So here, a technology that we call demand flow can help a lot in reducing the energy, mostly of chillers and cooling plant, but of all kinds of other energy consumers at an airport as well. And this technology is able to reduce the energy that's being consumed by all kinds of electrical applications on a very, very small, minuscule level. But counting them, adding them up over all airport installations, you're all of a sudden coming up with a reduction of energy consumption of 15 to 20% compared to previous technologies. And that gives you a return of investment within 2 or 3 years in average. Certainly worth considering as a smart technology going into airports. Thirdly, an example on working on life cycle costs in maintenance and operation, something that's very often badly forgotten. When an investment decision is being made, a lot of people look at the initial cost only, but not on the concurrent costs that are coming up afterwards. So we are switching very, very swiftly the maintenance regime from a corrective maintenance or a standard preventive maintenance, schedule-based preventive maintenance, to a proactive sensor-driven maintenance. That means we're providing our systems with sensors who detect vibrations, who detect heat, who detect differences in the noise emissions of any mechanical equipment in order to compare these patterns with the normal standard operating conditions. And these systems are self-learning, so they monitor the equipment constantly, detect deviations in the pattern, and tell the maintenance team in advance when a certain particular piece of equipment is going to fail, how long it will still last, so that the spare parts can be ordered in time, not a huge amount of spare parts need to be kept in stock, and the equipment can be kept in a concurrent operating mode without failures, and you can actually reduce the maintenance to only when it is really needed, but before it is actually needed, before something breaks. And that helps not only to maintain operative quality standards, low downtimes, but also really to reduce the cost of operation and maintenance. And then also an example on how smart investments in technology can help you to meet future standards. This is by participation in the relevant industry groups, by observing standards that are being developed for the airport industry and being recommended for the airport industry. And one example over here is the WiMAX technology, which is in the Aeromax standard, that is the future or the current standard that is currently being rolled out for ground-to-ground, air-to-ground, and air-to-air communications on a uniform wireless broadband standard. So that can help to not only entangle the chaos of communication, that radio communication that happens a lot at airport nowadays, it also helps to standardize and therefore reduce the cost of communication across the entire airport community, where not only the airport, but also security authorities, ground handlers, airlines, all adhere to the same wireless broadband standard, and therefore reducing costs and easing operation as well. And then probably the biggest potential of applying smart technologies lies in the power of IT integration. Now, that's nothing new. IT integration has been a topic for the last 10, 15, 20 years already. And I think we've seen great advancements in the integration of IT systems, all kinds of control systems. But we're seeing now, I would say, the third wave of that level of integration coming up to us with the Internet of Things, with big data being not only applied to the greater economies, but also to the smaller environments or ecosystems of an airport as well. All kinds of technical equipments nowadays being able to sense, to create a lot of data, provide that into a sort of semi or local cloud of the airport, and our data analytics being able of creating patterns, reading patterns of this data in order to get proper predictions of people behavior, of technical systems, of the integration level of all kinds of technical systems that can in turn, if properly applied, in turn determine and not only determine but influence the actual operations of the airport on a day-to-day basis, optimizing the usage of resources. And this is particularly important where airports are facing congestion. If you have plenty of space, if you have plenty of resources, then you don't need to worry about so many things than if you're working in a congested environment, which we're seeing at a lot of airports here in India nowadays. That's where the optimization to the last minute, the optimization to the last resource can actually help a lot in maintaining operational standards and reducing or bringing down costs. And that's where these IT systems, data analytics, and prediction of behavior and operational procedures can actually help a lot of, in reducing the costs and therefore provide a smart, a clever airport investment as well. And lastly, and this is not technical at all, this is about the philosophy and the commitment of your partners. I firmly believe that working with partners who are committed to the industry, committed to a certain region and to a certain country are as important as technical matters in any investment decision. And here, the airport of Bangalore is one of the most striking examples to me, because we've been involved in that airport not only from an investment perspective, but also from a solution provider perspective to a large extent. And to me, Bangalore Airport still is one of the most well-operating and efficiently operating, well-integrated airport that I've seen, not only in India, but far beyond that as well. And Mr. Arun Kanauja probably can support me in quoting a couple of other instances over here in India where that commitment to the industry and to the country has been helping.
Thank you, Stefan. So colleagues, as Stefan mentioned, as far as Siemens is concerned, we not only operate in terms of equipment space, but we are also a turnkey solution provider. So in Bangalore, right from getting the power from the grid to implementing the entire electromechanical systems was a turnkey responsibility of Siemens. And we have not limited ourselves to Bangalore alone, where we are investor. We have supported our prime customers, GMR and DEAL in Delhi International Airport, wherein we do the baggage handling, and we did the power supply systems. In Mumbai, wherein we support our customers with the operations of the baggage handling systems, and also with the Airports Authority in Calcutta, Ranchi, Coimbatore, and other airports. So, I'm not sure how many of you are practically aware about the journey of your baggage, which you see. Like Delhi typically today handles 100,000 bags, yani 1 lakh bags per day. And each bag has typically 10 to 20 data points depending on its journey. Delhi has a typical baggage handling system which is around 7 kilometers. Mumbai also has similar. And the flight, closes just 40 minutes before the departure. And all the bags have to reach, which all of you would like to have, yeah? So as it is said, most of the airports around the world are designed first keeping baggage handling systems in place, yeah? How they would like the baggage handling systems to be operated, maintained, and things like this. I think colleagues from Fraport would say yes to that, because that's one of the systems which is really, really complicated. So imagine 100,000 bags with typical 10 to 20 data points. So in a real-time space, every day, we are storing typically around 1 million to 2 million data points for each baggage handling system, which could be a surprise to many of you. And in terms of control and the IT systems behind it, I can say the systems in Delhi and Mumbai are similar to what you would have in a mini refinery or in a power plant. That is the kind of IT and the systems which get into these kind of baggage handling, the complex handling systems which we see. Because flights have to leave on time, passengers are coming at any point in time. But yes, there are some things, areas wherein we are asking airport operators also to look into it to improve the passenger experience. And one was the point which was raised by the minister, and I think the chairman as well, that when the passengers are coming in, why should they take out a bag in Mumbai if somebody has to travel in Pune at 3 a.m. in the morning? I mean, that's not a comfortable thing for him. So, like in Dubai or in Germany or elsewhere or in US, passenger will receive the bag in Pune, right? So, I mean, our baggage handling systems could handle that. It's more on the regulatory side, on the custom sides, they have to look into it. With small augmentations, both in Mumbai and Delhi, this could be achieved without any problem. Second thing is early bag check-in. Today, only the check-in window opens 4 hours before when a passenger lands up, but somebody comes 6 hours, 8 hours before, he can't hand over the bags. I think this is where the airports will need to come up with early bag storage systems, which are there in Incheon, Dubai, Munich, elsewhere, wherein people can check up much early and can fly a little later. But this needs more advanced technologies in terms of baggage handling systems, wherein the systems could be automatically stored and then can be retrieved as and when the flight opens. So these are things which could be further improved on. But I'm not sure many of you are aware when the Hong Kong subject was being discussed. Delhi has already implemented it. We did it in 2012, wherein you can do the city check-in. You can do the check-in in New Delhi stations. You can do in Shivaji stadiums. Same as with the Pioneer, we implemented the city check-in facilities, and you can fly from Delhi. So those things are already happening in the country. If some of you are not aware about, I would like to tell you on those things as well. So we are progressing, and Siemens has been pioneer in developing these solutions to you. I mean, airport space is very premium space in the country. And I think on the cargo side, as investors, somebody can look at it. If we could have an automated cargo handling system, something like what you have in Dubai or Hong Kong or elsewhere, where Siemens has pioneered and developed all those solutions for them. Because typically, if you do a manual handling, you're limited to around 8K metric tons per square meter space, wherein if you go vertical, you can go 3 times or 4 times more. So this is where one can really look at it. But I think cargo volumes are going up, and this is one area wherein Siemens can really help in developing the right solutions for that as well. So this is all from my side. Thank you.
Thanks. And since I don't want to keep you very much longer from your deserved coffee as well, the others are taking it already. Let me come to a very quick solution or a conclusion, recommendation out of these considerations of doing smart airport investments, smart technology investments, basically is twofold. If you're looking for an investor, recommendation is look for a co-investor who understands the industry, is in the industry for a long time already, is committed to the industry and to the country you're operating in, and look for an investor who understands the technology implications as well, and the effects that certain decisions on technology can have on the long-term financial viability of that PPP project. If, on the other hand, you're looking for a solution provider, look for a solution provider who's willing to get involved with own money, with equity as well. Look for a solution provider who is in the industry for a long time, provides smart technology which is constantly developed and involved. Look for a solution provider who's capable of providing lessons learned and cross-industry experience. Some of the most clever additions that we did to our airport technologies are coming actually out of the postal and parcel industry, where we do a cross-industry learning that other companies may not be able to do in. And look for a solution provider who has a relatively broad spectrum of systems, of solutions to be applied, because that reduces to a very great degree the headache that results from the integration of different technologies. And specifically, if you have a quick project at hand, that integration coming out of one solutions provider's portfolio can actually reduce a lot of the efforts in the construction period. I know we've been rushing through the slides a little bit, but I'm sure the organizers can make the slides available to you for download. If not, you can contact me and Arun at any time, and we can provide the slides to you. These are just a few brief considerations on how to make smart technologies when investing into airports. Thanks a lot for your attention.
Thank you for an excellent presentation, I should say. Request Mr. Arvind Pradhan to please present a memento to Mr. Stephen Porzer. Thank you. Well, gentlemen, ladies, we are not breaking. Like yesterday, you can carry your tea, coffee cups to the tables. We continue. There will be a panel session on